Okay, guys, in this last video of this series of the practice on the data cleanings and integration, so I will try to show you guys how to deal with the missing data, and finally how we can use the pivot table, one of very strong function in Excel, to just solve one of the problem. Okay, so first of all, I will use the NVA team validation evaluation practice file to just demonstrate for the deal with missing data values in this video. But however, remember this is totally different data, so you should not try to just use, I always say, not try these two uses to just demonstrate for the thing we are doing. Okay, so with this data, actually they don't have enough data compared to the original one, so that should be the point. And we still have the missing data, okay, in this data. So all the other, they totally fine. But however, in this observation about Charlotte Bobcast, so we are missing up the data in the 1 year value chain, okay. All right, so now let's start for the data manipulation. Okay, so let's start with the first suggestions, okay. So in this data, most of the case, like when I try to just demonstrate about how the thing change for the correlation coefficient between the variable, I will try to create a new data set, new worksheet. So in this case, the first method, they suggest me to delete the missing data, okay. So I will just maybe just name this one delete. In another case, the people will try to do it with the replace by the mean replace, okay. And this is a suggestion. And the last one, they suggest to just do the missing data replacement by the most values, okay. So the most value, okay, replace. And so that will be it. And I will copy all the data by Control A and then Control C, right? And then I paste this here. I will paste this here all the time. Okay. Just spread it a little bit now. Okay. So the first suggestion, they say like I can delete the missing data. So yep, I will try to delete it. Remember, some of the students think like, yeah, with the missing values, that means you just leave it here. But with the missing value, actually, in the PowerPoint slide that I've already powered you, right? So with the missing value, we have some kinds of solution to do that. First of all, deletion. That means if we miss up just a few records have the missing values, so we can delete for the following data analysis. We can discard the variable if we have many missing data. So in this case, right, we just have one record, actually one observation now have the missing data. So yeah, the option would be like, instead of delete the whole variable, I just should delete the observation only. So I delete this one, okay, and this will be my new data, okay. You can suggest it and you can clean it now and just have a 24 observation, no longer 25, right? So the time for us to start for the correlation coefficient. So we can create the correlation metric, right? It's not a big deal anymore. And I showed you in the previous video, right? We go into the data and data analysis toolbox. You can open out this one and then you click on correlation and OK. So they will ask you to just select for all the input range. Over here, I select for all this input range, including all the quantitative data, current values, 1 year value chain, the depth, over values, revenues, and operation income. Okay, and I want to save the thing into this table, and the cell has been saved, and it's create for the correlation coefficient. Okay. Your question could be you have to chain it and try to see the chain and the correlation and fill it in this one. Alright. The second way, with the same data set, right? With the same data set, now I'm going to just do the replacement based on their mean. Okay, so for example here you can measure for the mean of 1 year value change. Okay, and you got it by the average function. Remember, this will be the mean way. Okay, and you select for all the value you have to select. Okay, from D2 into D26, and we have the number over here. And if they just suggest to replace the missing value by the mean, okay, route into the second decimal place. Okay, so I would just route it into the second decimal place by this one. Okay, the second decimal place. Okay, and that's going to be 7.54. This replacement methods can be very helpful when you run into some of the analysis for the modeling, data modeling, especially for linear regression or in decision tree, and or the later, like for example association rule. And now the time for us, when we already replace the data, okay, we can one more time go into data and data analysis, make the correlation analysis, and yeah, I will select for this part all the data. Okay, and I want to put in the outcome into display, and I say okay, and one more time it has been generated over here. The same thing you can do with the mode, right? So if you want to do it with the mode one more time, you can do it the same way. I will not just spend too much time for you to demonstrate about this part, but remember about the mode. Okay, so one more time we want to see the modes of the 1 year value change, and to be the time for us to just plot this with the mode function. Okay, the mode function has been very kind of like conventional function in Excel, and you can use this. Alright, and you have the number 4, so you just replay it 4 over here, and you one more time run for data analysis, and that should be your work to just run and finish for this exercise and try to answer for all the questions. Okay, the last part of the exercise will be data transformation and the basic analysis. So for data transformation, you will have to deal with some kinds of basic function manipulation to just transform for the unit time. That's will be one kind of like computational conventional units of the time and day in the past. So we will try to transform the kind of one of the unreadable data into readable data by some of the basic function. And furthermore, I show you how to do the basic analysis based on the pivot table. Okay. So to do that, I one more time you for the Amazon writing musical instrument brought this that time. Actually, this is a little bit different to your data, so not try to just see it. Okay. Right. It will take for a while for you to just open this data file because they quite large. Depend on your computer configuration. Maybe it takes maybe up to a minute or something. But because that the total observation of this one approximate like 500,000 observation, right? So with this, I guess like this will be one of the time you get exposed to a data file where the data size quite a lot, approximate 20 megabyte, right? And also for up to 500,000 observation record. And for some students, that's quite overwhelming. Okay, but anyway, like always, I will try to just concentrate and just spread for the width. Right. So this data, we have the reviewer ID. So that's all the review that's become from different reviewer. Okay, and also for the product IDs, rating star, that's very important. So for some of the product, different reviewer, they give some kind like the recommendation and also the rating. So some of them very satisfied with the product. They rate like 5 star. For the other, like just 2, maybe like just 1 or 3 or 4 in the middle. But anyway, like this data file with you can be a little bit too large, I guess. now should be the time for us to do the data transformation first, and then we do with the pivot table. Okay, so if you want to do it before this one, I recommend you guys to just transfer the unit time. This will be the review unit time into regular day formats. Okay, so right here I provide you guys a reference link, so you can use it to learn about how to convert the unit time into the Excel time. And basically this will be the formula. Okay, so I will use this for time, or we will say review time. All right, and then we use the this function. Okay, you use the unit time and divide it for 60 time for 60 seconds for a minute, and 60 minutes for an hour, and 24 hours for a day. So that will be the way. And then we plot for the first day of the 1970. Okay, and we close the function, I guess. So let's see how it would look like. Okay, so this will be the review time, and this will be the time for us to just measure everything based on the function. Okay, the thing will be like later you will have to transfer it into not general, because this is the general values to the short day. Alright, and you see like over here, right, you will see the time for them has been made the revision, and the data sometime rise up until like 2014, 15, I'm not sure, because I never have a time to just do it. Alright, so let's come back, and that should be how the people can do the data transformation with the unit time. Now let's do it. I guess like I would just hide this kind of like column, so that would be better for us to just run it all, and in case you can format it like a table so you can see it easier. And I say okay, yep. And if I say normally with a kind of very simple table, right, we just have a few selection for the product ID or the reviewer IDs or something like that. But unfortunately with this one, it looks like all the revision and also product ID go into forever, because we have up to 500,000 observation, right? So it's too much. So not even here, not all the items had been sold. So it looks like, yeah, it's not a good way for us to just demonstrate the data like this way. And anyway, they ask for like which year generate the highest, the lowest, something. Okay, so yeah, look like very complicated. Okay, so now let's do it and do the revision, and also for the simple data analysis based on the pivot table. So we select for all the data, alright, and then we go into insert, and this would be the time for us to use for the pivot table. Actually, if you want to learn more about the pivot table, there are thousands of out there the video. If you go into YouTube and you say like pivot table analysis on Excel, they will give you a lot of kind of like the introduction and how to use the pivot table, and pretty sure that in the later chapters we will also learn about that, okay, in the business intelligence chapter. But however, for this one, we just do it simply. Okay, so we select for pivot table, and we want to create it. We select for the whole table, and we want to just open it in the existing worksheet. That's fine. Or you want to just open it in the new worksheet. So over here maybe just new worksheet, because the data is quite large. Okay, and I will just do one of the very simple example. Okay, we want to see about the year generate lowered average rating. So we have to just analyze all the things linked by the years, right? That's be separated by the years, sorted by the years, and also see the rating average of all the things. So we here put into the revision time into the round time. Okay, if you do not feel comfortable with that, you remove for the quarter and review time. You just put into like the number, okay, the year. Because of the revision time that has been separated and transform into day, like month or quarterlies or like yearlies. So they automatically with the revision time, they generate into quarter and year. So I just stop it here with the year because they just required like this way, right? Now, like I will try to see the rating star, put it into values. But what happened? Oh, it looked like in the 1998, right? There are a lot of people do for the rating. Not a lot of people, because at that time the internet is not that popular and the people don't have the kind of like purchasing behavior for giving the customer experience or the survey, something like that, right? They don't want to get the feedback. So that opposite to the current values, like for example in 2013 or like 14, when the people now do a lot of revision. And also think about like this will be Amazon, right? So Amazon Music called instrument. Maybe at that time, back to the 1980, the kind of like customer package and also for all the customer list of them are not that big. But after about like 20 years, Amazon has just witnessed a kind of great improvement about the customer behavior and also the number of the customer using the service. So that's the reason why they must have a lot of the experience. Okay, so let's just leave it at there and let's come back here, right? So if you do it like with the sum of the rating, it look like it's not good, because the rating, we just want to see like in each year how much it could be average for the rating of the Amazon, right? So we, instead of use the sum values, we train it by click into this part and see for value field setting, and we do it instead of like sum, we do it like average. Okay, and yep, you see it like for average in which years it will be. Okay, if you feel like it's not comfortable, you can even short them from largest into smallest, or short them from smallest into largest. That's up to you. Okay, or maybe here I would just sort all the thing based on the oldest into the nearest. So that's totally up to you. Okay, and you also can at the same time copy this one, or you can generate for the graph. Okay, so for example, I generate for the average of the rating, and I'm going to just create for the pivot chart, and this will be it, how it look like, and this will be it. You see how it changed over time, right? It's more visual and easier to see. But that will be the different story for the next chapters. Okay, so your work, you will have to try to see all the things and answer for the rest of this one. Remember, the pivot table is very strong and powerful in terms of data analysis, and we try to just learn about that some more. I recommend you guys to just go out there to see some of the instruction video, or we will learn it in the next chapter. Thank you so much for your watching.